1. Alexander the Great. Imagine being just 20 years old and suddenly inheriting one of the strongest armies in the ancient world. Most people would collapse under the weight of that responsibility. But Alexander didn't. Instead, he went on to build one of the largest empires in human history before the age of 33. Alexander mastered what psychologists now call the halo effect, a bias where we take one positive trait of a person, like confidence or appearance, and assume it means they're extraordinary in all areas. Soldiers didn't just see Alexander as a commander, they saw him as almost godlike. His bravery in charging into battles created an aura that made his men fight harder, convinced they were destined for victory. Modern psychology shows that charisma isn't about shouting or dominance, it's about making others believe in your vision. Alexander embodied this. His soldiers weren't just fighting for land, they believed they were part of something world-changing. And that belief carried him across continents. The lesson: when people believe in your vision, they'll push beyond their limits. 2. Julius Caesar, persuasion and public image. Rome was a city full of ambitious men, but none played the game of public image like Julius Caesar. He didn't just fight wars, he fought for the hearts and minds of Rome. Caesar understood social proof, the idea that people take cues from what the majority believes. He staged public celebrations of his victories, flooded Rome with stories of his bravery, and even exaggerated his hardships to make himself relatable. Think of it like early political marketing. Every speech, every story, every triumph was engineered to create the impression that he was the man destined to lead Rome. And it worked. People loved him so much that even when he bent rules and seized power, they justified it because they believed his image. This shows the enduring power of perception. Leaders don't just rule with laws, they rule with stories. 3. Napoleon Bonaparte, confidence and illusion of control. Napoleon rose from a relatively obscure Corsican soldier to Emperor of France. His secret weapon: confidence so strong it was contagious. Psychologists call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. When a leader believes in their destiny, their followers start believing too, even in the face of impossible odds. Napoleon would tell his men they were destined for glory, and because he acted like it was inevitable, they fought as if it were true. This illusion of control, believing you can shape outcomes even when chance is involved, can be dangerous, but it's also powerful. Napoleon inspired his army to win battles against much larger forces because they truly believed they were unstoppable. The lesson: confidence is viral. People mirror the certainty of their leaders. 4. Winston Churchill, resilience in crisis. In 1940, Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany. Morale was collapsing. Many leaders would have panicked. But Churchill rose to the moment. His weapon: optimism bias. Churchill reframed defeat as temporary and survival as inevitable. In speeches, he didn't deny the danger, but he always shifted the focus to courage and victory. When he said, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall never surrender," it wasn't just rhetoric. It was a psychological strategy to shift an entire nation's mindset from despair to resilience. Psychologists know that optimism bias, believing the future will be better than the past, can reduce fear and fuel perseverance. Churchill wielded this like a sword, holding Britain together through its darkest hours. The takeaway: a leader's words can reshape how millions feel about survival itself. 5. Adolf Hitler, dark charisma and propaganda. Not all psychology is used for good. Hitler's rise is one of history's darkest examples of manipulation. He mastered the psychology of in-group versus out-group bias. By uniting people under the idea of a pure German identity and painting others as threats, he created a powerful us versus them mentality. Propaganda exploited fear, anger, and hope all at once. Crowds felt swept up in a movement larger than themselves. Psychologists today still study Hitler's speeches as examples of emotional contagion, how anger and excitement can spread through crowds like wildfire. This is a chilling reminder: psychology can inspire greatness, but it can also justify destruction. 6. Martin Luther King Jr., emotional persuasion. On the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just give a speech. He gave people a dream. His gift was pathos, the emotional appeal. King didn't bombard people with statistics or logic. He painted pictures in the mind: a day when children of all races could hold hands, a vision of freedom ringing from every hill. Neuroscience tells us emotions drive memory and decision-making. King's speeches worked because they touched the heart before the mind. The psychology here is timeless: logic makes people think, but emotion makes them move. If you found this breakdown fascinating, let me know in the comments which leader's psychology you want me to dive deeper into next. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Because the greatest lessons of leadership are written not in history books, but in the psychology of those who shaped it.